Your dog is cute, your kids are adorable, and your cat really does look good in that tutu. But there's only so many times you can talk about how cool velociraptors are, or how much you want to rub that fuzzy belly. How about a podcast with extraordinary people and scintillating conversation? It's The Derek Duval Show. Find it at DerekDuvalShow.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your podcasts. And no, I will not be attending your cat's quinceañera.
It's time to learn with the History Boiz! Hey everybody, welcome to the History Boiz. I am Christopher Whedon, and I have been reading some very interesting stuff about the inner ear, and I'm talking about the cochlea.
Cochlea?
Technically both ways.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the spiral thing in the middle of the ear, and it's actually this long tube. And within the tube, it has this bony membrane. And within that, there are little hairs, right?
Okay.
Little hairs. And as it goes down, the hertz or whatever are different. And at different points within the cochlea, or cochlea. Yeah. I prefer cochlea because it's objectively funnier. It hears different,
frequencies.
Frequencies, exactly. And in there, those little hairs, if they get damaged or bent, that can actually be what causes tinnitus. Right?
Yeah.
So basically what's happening is you're getting an electric input from that point. What Tyler? Is this not entertaining?
Let's save it for the Patreon.
Yeah.
So there's two fluids in the inner ear, guys. There's two fluids in the inner ear. On the inner ear,
there's
it's
pus
called...
and blood.
What is it called? It's called... I had it up. It was called endolymph, is the inner ear fluid. And that actually has a concentration... Potassium, Tyler.
Yeah.
Potassium and sodium. With a higher ratio of potassium. Okay?
Yeah.
So
it's more banana.
Well, it's actually
more banana than not.
Technically more banana.
Yeah,
but it's
not.
also highly conductive.
Wait, does that have more potassium?
And that's why it's able to get more electric charges, and those electric charges go into the nerves, and they translate into hearable sounds.
In your brain.
Does it have more potassium than Vita Coco water?
So anyway, the pole...
I'm going to answer my question.
Chris doesn't answer questions.
The perilymph fluid, I don't know how to pronounce it, the outer fluid, which is on the
like
outer end of the inside of the cochlea. That one actually is
Did you go back to the article?
No, I was just looking at the names of the fluids because I can't remember every little detail, but it was very interesting.
We're now at the mercy of Chris's editing.
So,
Can I just...
Just one last thing!
Okay, fine.
One last thing! I'm almost done! So the perilymph fluid, it is a higher concentration of sodium and then potassium.
When you put the two together, does it create
But it's on the outside.
Foam?
I don't fucking know.
Create fucking
That's
volcano.
as far as I got on the Wikipedia
Yeah,
article.
that's what I was thinking. It creates like a volcano comes out. You put red dye in.
It's like Mentos and Coke together.
Tyler Armentrout.
That's why I'm constantly foaming from my ears.
Yeah.
History. Tyler Armentrout, History Boy here. You guys are listening to the exact moment in time where Chris snapped.
I'm like cleaning a gun while I say that.
Every time he steamrolled us back there, he was pointing a gun at us. Enjoy the fall of Rome.
Yeah.
Right.
I am Zach Meck, and somebody please send help. And I am a history boy, and I am scared. Help.
And I am Jerry Nash, your humble history boy, as always, and I don't think Chris has the guts to kill anybody.
Oh, no. I'm way too cowardly.
Yeah.
And sensitive. I would cry.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, most of the time he points that stuff at us, we'll be the first people to hold the barrel tight against our own forehead and say, why don't you fucking,
skin that smoke wagon and see what happens?
Yeah. And then Chris ends up breaking down and crying. So, and then you realize the gun isn't even loaded. So,
and it's made of rubber.
I'm gonna just keep on spinning the wheel of pushing him to the edge and see what happens.
Yeah, that's
for the sake of comedy, right?
For the sake of comedy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is we're talking about Launchpad McQuack?
No,
Part 2?
No.
I don't remember.
Haile Selassie, part 2 is who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for part 2. This is going to be a 3-parter because I really wanted to get in the weeds with it. And even then, guys, this is a big story, and there are so many characters in this epic story that I'm going to have to leave some people out here. So I really want you to go read the book Prevail by Jeff
You could
Pierce.
just turn this off and just read that.
Or if you want,
It's a really good book.
Or you
I
could
used
give
it
us
for a
money.
source for
yeah.
this. Yes.
Well, or you could listen to this version. This version's really good. You're going to get a ton of information. It's a great primer. And then when you read the book later, you're going to be like, oh, I remember Jerry talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, we're funnier than that book.
Yeah, probably.
that is true.
And for our more rich listeners out there, if you do hit the $100 Patreon mark, Jerry will read that entire book for you on our
God.
Patreon exclusive.
It's worth way more than 100.
And Chris will do all the funny voices.
Yeah. I'll tell you about all the other parts of the ear. There's a middle ear, gang.
Oh, okay.
You know?
There's front,
I spoke
front, middle, and back.
It's not just outer and inner. There's like a middle.
Okay. Save it up, Chris.
It's a little menage
For
a
now,
trois.
I want to let Jerry into my middle ear. And I think you folks at home, too, should also let him do the same.
Yeah.
So last we left you, Italy, under the leadership of a madman, Benito Mussolini.
It's harsh words for Mussolini.
Well, he mounted his invasion of the Empire of Ethiopia. On October 3rd, 1935, bombers appeared over the horizon, and almost 200,000 Italian troops and askaris poured into Ethiopia from Eritrea in the north, starting the Second Italo-Ethiopian War.
Rock and roll.
It's not rock and roll. It's pretty nasty.
Still rock and roll to me. Billy Joel. It was about this, right? That song?
So Mussolini addressed Italy in a speech that was broadcast and listened to around the world by Italians all over the world.
Yeah, I wouldn't have understood a word of that.
Yeah, it's in a different language. But he was justifying his invasion of Ethiopia, saying that Ethiopia was a backwards place, and that the League of Nations refused to see Italy's right to take it.
Because it was backwards?
Yeah, for a lot of reasons. Yeah, he's like, it's a backwards place, we're avenging ourselves.
Number one,
da-da-da-da-da.
it's backwards. Number two, not frontwards.
Yeah.
Number three, double sideways in the back. Like, that part doesn't make
I'm
any
now
sense.
opening the floor to questions. Will we be turning it forwards? That's enough with the questions.
Plus, they beat us one time.
Yeah.
We're salty.
And we're salty about it. Here's the end of his speech, and this really paints a picture as to the kind of guy Mussolini was. Quote, Italy, entirely and universally fascist. The Italy of the black shirt fascist revolution, rise to your feet. Let the cry of your determination rise to the skies and reach our soldiers in East Africa. Let it be a comfort to those who are about to fight. Let it be an encouragement to our friends and a warning to our enemies. It is the cry of Italy which goes beyond the mountains and the seas, out into the great world. It is the cry of justice and of victory. End quote.
Wow. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump stole that verbatim and changed Italy to America and Africa to Mexico.
Something like that.
He knows how small Italy is, right?
Yeah.
Like, and how they can't possibly have an army big enough to do the kinds of things that he wants them to be doing, right?
He does to take Ethiopia. I'll say that.
That's all he means. He's
But-
like, I
but
will
he
take
wants-
over the world.
but
and
he
by
wants-
that I mean Ethiopia.
Yeah. He wants to create another Roman Empire. You know what I mean?
Starting with Ethiopia.
And in Rome, they were the biggest kid on the block. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
sure.
I mean, I guess maybe he's like, I'm putting the first brick down. But man, oof,
Yeah, pretty much.
You got to start somewhere.
uphill climb, man.
But this was the only declaration of war that the world would get. They didn't declare war formally. They broadcast this, and then the next day they invaded. Mm-hmm. Or I think it was maybe that day, something like that. And of course, Britain and France, because they wanted Italy to stay on their side in a possible war with Germany,
Oh yeah, that worked out.
they let it happen. They let all of this stuff that we're about to cover happen because they wanted to make sure that Italy wasn't going to join with Germany.
Yeah, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that story ends there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
They totally didn't join up with Germany, and then even if they did, Germany totally treated them like a one-to-one ally with
Yeah.
everything that they did. They didn't totally just treat them like
Use them?
second-class fascists.
Yeah. Although Hitler learned almost everything he knew about the geopolitical situation of the League of Nations from Benito Mussolini.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
did they just talk on the phone all night? You
no,
know?
he just...
What you thinking about?
Yeah, I'm just imagining Hitler laying on his stomach on his bed with his legs kicking.
Yeah.
While he's like twirling
No.
twirling the phone cord.
Yeah,
On
Exactly.
his
No,
Garfield
you
phone.
hang up first. No, you hang up first.
No, he just saw that if you do something without the League's approval, the League won't do anything.
Oh, so it means nothing.
Yeah. And Japan learned this as well.
Was
Uh,
Japan in the league?
No.
But they were like,
but
we
they were
can
like,
still do whatever we
we can
want.
do whatever we want because the League's not going to do shit.
Yeah, fuck the league.
Because Britain and France were meeting outside of the League, and they were the most powerful members of the League, so it negated the whole point of the League. You know?
more like
Yeah.
the League of Extra Lame Gentlemen.
Nice. It's the same reason the Justice League didn't work. They'd be like, Lex Luthor is, I don't know, he's fucking doing, I don't know, buying up some properties or something. I don't know what he does. And they're like, well, he's in his legal right to do it. What are we? Our hands are tied.
Yeah.
Didn't Lex Luthor become like president of
Some
the
point,
U.S.
yeah.
at one
Forget.
point
Yeah,
in the
yes.
DC universe? Yeah. Silly.
He was El Presidente.
Okay. El Duce. El Duce.
El Duce. It's Spanish for
The
the
Duke.
Duce.
It's Italian for the Duke, isn't it?
Oh, it's a whole thing.
I don't
Anyway,
care.
I was
okay.
going Chris Farley with that, okay?
Yeah,
that's-
So
I
sue
understood
me.
what you were doing.
I didn't get it at all, and I ruined the joke.
Supreme commander of the Italian fascist forces was Emilio de Bono. His plan was to take a relatively small force, like the tip of the spear, small force, and move gradually southward from Eritrea. And then he wanted to establish strong bases as he moved forward. This was to make sure that he didn't overstretch his supply lines, right? And it was slow, it was safe, and it was strong, right? And Mussolini, he wanted everything to happen fast. He wanted it to happen now. But he's like, De Bono was
Classic
like,
millennial.
he was like, we gotta fucking play this right because Ethiopia is naturally fortified. Like, the country we are going into,
Oh, it's like Mordor.
yeah, it's naturally
Or
fortified.
Afghanistan.
I don't want
Afghanistan is a great
I feel
one.
bad comparing the people of Ethiopia to, you know, your orcs and your goblins and your Urukai.
I
But
wouldn't
meant
do
it,
that.
I meant it as in it's got that
Mountainous.
Yeah, the Boromir has this whole fucking spiel about it.
And they had tanks. They had these. These full-size tanks, not as quite as big as our Sherman tanks, but they had these smaller two-seat tanks where you straight up stick out the top, and like there's no top on it. There's these little tiny tanks. They were made of tin.
Oh,
cheap
these are
tin.
the tiny tin tanks.
Yeah, tiny tin tanks.
Right.
They were made by Fiat.
I was gonna say the reason why they were tin was because inside they were just Vespas. They had to have good ventilation so you could smoke inside.
Exactly.
So where do you think Italy hit, like, first, right off the bat?
About?
Oh my god.
What
Adwa.
about that?
Adwa, because they were avenging the Battle of Adwa.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that oasis you were talking about.
Oh no, Wall. No. It was Adwa. And actually they painted Adwa on their tanks because it was very much an avenging mission. They bombed the fuck out of the place. And like people stood there with like helplessly looking at these planes drop bombs on them, not being able to do a damn thing about it. Yeah, see? Not that simple, unfortunately.
Talk about the Italian job.
All right.
Good job, Tyler.
I'll accept that.
Fiat's not that dissimilar from your Mini Coopers.
A miniature Cooper.
A miniature
which
Cooper.
was heavily.
What's a
used.
full-size Cooper?
Yeah, show me a full-size Cooper, huh?
I think that would be DB.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Haile Selassie personally led an initial counteroffensive against the Italians, but was forced to retreat back to Addis Ababa. And the Italian army, after this initial defeat, faced little resistance. But in a place with few roads and unforgiving terrain, they were slowed considerably. I mean, take Horatio Nelson Jackson. Like, they're not far removed from those sort of vehicles.
Right.
And, like, amplify that by, like, 100. You know, you have worse terrain, and, like, you're trying to move a whole army rather than, like, 2 dudes, a dog, and a car.
Right.
You know?
Even
Did they
in,
have
like,
a dog though?
It's an army.
So yeah, definitely.
in the early aughts when, like, didn't they make a movie about how our special forces, when they had to go into Afghanistan, they had to be trained to fucking ride horses?
Yeah.
Because you're not just gonna get in a sweet buggy and drive around,
Yeah.
you know, naturally fortified terrain.
Yeah.
What was
And,
that movie?
it was called
Hidalgo?
It's called
I know it wasn't.
Horse Battalion. Horse
Whisperer.
Call in the cavalry, guys, America. It's called something like that.
And I think that won 3 Oscars.
Yeah.
It won Clint Eastwood his 47th Oscar for Best Director.
There you go.
He's like, America, fuck you.
It was about old guys getting it done in American exceptionalism.
Yelling at chairs.
Yeah, yelling at chairs.
Yelling at chairs and
Maybe
saying a
there's a
lot of
tsunami in
racist
there.
things.
Now, despite the Italian success, it still wasn't fast enough for Mussolini. He kept telling De Bono to hurry up. So De Bono would later be replaced by Pietro Badoglio.
Because De Bono was going too slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
De Bono was
Everything
going
was
way too
going a
slow.
little too fast for De Bono.
Yeah.
He's like, whoa, and everyone was like, andiamo, De Bono.
Rapido.
Yeah.
You know,
Andale. I'm sure there's an Italian variation of the same word.
Like andiamo.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you
I
go.
don't know,
I don't fucking speak any of those languages.
You nodded at me like, oh, motherfucker knows a little bit of Italian, and then you went on to show that you just
Don't.
nodded because you're like,
I
Tyler
nodded.
spoke some gibberish at me.
Pretty much.
that gibberish sounded surprisingly like
It
Italian.
sounded pretty good. Yeah.
that sounds like it was probably right.
Tyler knows what he's talking about all of a sudden.
Tyler, to be fair, I think the reason why Jerry nodded was he thought that you were ordering, like, when you're taking the tour of Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At our favorite establishment.
The
and
Olive Garden.
Yeah.
I can't believe we haven't brought up the Olive Garden.
Not a single time. Yeah.
I think we kind of exhausted that to a degree.
Yeah.
Plus, they
Much
don't let
like
us in
I'm
there.
always exhausted after I eat there because of the portion size.
They
of
took
the
away
food.
our all-you-can-eat passes, and we
No.
were pretty mad about it.
Yeah.
Now Haile Selassie, he went when he got back to Addis Ababa. He made a speech where he mobilized the people of Ethiopia. It was a desperate attempt to defend his country. Mm-hmm. And in the speech, he shamed the world abroad for their craven inaction. He rallied his people in an all-or-nothing struggle and gave them instruction on how to fight the invaders and how to fight planes and how to break camps and how to dress, levy instructions. Hey man, you out there in the provinces, pick up your gun or whatever the fuck you have and report to your Ross, man. And you better fucking do it now. And he would warn people, like, hey, don't loot anything, or you're killing your fucking brother here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So please don't loot. He didn't say please, but
That's like my favorite thing is looting.
so here's a couple of quotes from this speech, because again it paints the picture of the sort of feudalistic nature of Ethiopia during the time and what they're staring at. You know what I mean, as a people. Quote, if you withhold from your country, Ethiopia, the death from cough or head cold from which you would otherwise die, refusing to resist in your district, in your patrimony, and in your home, our enemy who is coming from a distant country to attack us, and if you persist in not shedding your blood, you will be rebuked for it by your Creator and will be cursed by your offspring. Hence, without cooling your heart of accustomed valor, there emerges your decision to fight fiercely, mindfully of your history that will last far into the future. And anyone that didn't answer the call of mobilization, anyone that was still of able body, you'd be hung.
Cool.
If they found that you were hiding out and not fighting. So they're like, it's now or fucking never, dude. You report and you go fight. And straight up, people from 12 years old all the way up. If you weren't totally infirmed, if you could walk, if you could carry a weapon, you went.
Lazy fucking
Jeez.
11-year-olds. I hope they all got hanged.
Jesus. So now that the Italian invasion was really underway, and they were basically burning their way slowly through Ethiopia, there was an Italian commander. His name was Rodolfo Graziani, and he was known for his brutality and the use of concentration camps in the pacification of Libya that happened before this. And he earned the nickname the Butcher of Fezzan.
Oh, but what he's butchering is probably some kind of cured hog.
No,
No.
it's not. It's
humans.
people.
Yeah.
It's people.
It's not like porchetta.
It's like Carol.
No. Yeah. It's people, unfortunately. He was a war criminal in every sense of the word. He led the tip of the Italian spear, making its way to Addis Ababa from the south. So they were coming from different directions. I believe he came through the Ogaden or Ogaden. I've heard it pronounced both ways. He himself said, quote, "Duce will have Ethiopia with or without the Ethiopians," end quote.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
boy.
Yeah, this dude was not fucking around.
And that's
like,
because they beat them one time.
yeah, and they felt entitled to Ethiopia, right?
I mean, they must have felt entitled to Ethiopia before. That's probably
Oh, yeah.
when they fought at, what's it called?
Ottawa.
Ottawa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Love their juice, by the way.
That's Odwalla. It's in Canada.
They attacked there too?
That's lesser known. Now there was a story as this whole thing is underway, and the thing was the Ethiopians weren't. I mean, they weren't great at fighting this modern military force. You know, like they would rush into battle. They didn't really know that you're supposed to let the artillery soften up the enemy first and then rush in. Otherwise, you're getting shot by your own artillery.
Come on, Ethiopians. Wait
it's
for
like
an Ethiopening.
All they were really doing was slowing the Italian progress, is what they were doing. And it was bloody and it was fucking gnarly. Now, there was a story that an Italian pilot was shot down and he was captured by Ethiopians. He was tortured. His fingers were cut off.
Oof.
And also his dick and balls were cut off. And then, of course, he was beheaded and his head was paraded around and whatnot.
And that last part's just rude.
I feel like if you're gonna do that, you should cut off their dick and balls like first. Because if they're already in so much pain from the other stuff, they're gonna be like, all right, just throw that in the pile. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
Well-
throw my dick and balls in that pile of fingers that you have over there.
Right.
Well, this was Italian propaganda.
Oh, this didn't happen?
Basically, when this word got back to Italy, it whipped everybody up into a fucking frenzy, a rage. But the truth of it is that the pilot likely crashed because shooting down planes was next to impossible for the Ethiopians. So he likely crashed and either died in the crash or died while trying to fix the plane.
That's what happened to Launchpad McQuack.
His body was later discovered intact but badly decomposed a few hundred feet from the crash.
Launchpad McQuack.
he's like, my propeller's seizing up. I better just try to fix it with my hands. Oh no, my fingers. There's only one way I'm going to be able to fix the propeller now. I'm going to have to put my dick and balls in there. Oh no, my dick and balls. I'm going to crash.
I better put my head in
He was
there.
still in the air?
The
In the
plane's
air.
going down, and he's like, oh no.
He's sticking
oh,
his
no.
dick in there.
And then he crashes, and then they find him, and they're like, clearly what happened wasn't that he's incompetent. He's all chopped up.
He's all chopped up and mangled.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
Those
that's what happened to
Ethiopian
Launchpad McQuack.
Sons of bitches.
He got all chopped up.
Got all chopped.
It was a real,
That's how
it
you
was a
get
very
Gizmo
dark
back.
episode of DuckTales.
Jeez.
Woohoo!
Sticking himself in propellers.
It may have been a Darkwing Duck episode. That's a little darker. Hence the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all in the name.
He was in that too.
They don't call it Fun Wing Duck.
I think he was in Tailspin. I don't know.
I think there was a bit of a cinematic universe at that point in time.
The Launchpad McQuack cinematic universe
Jeez.
that ended when he fucking chopped himself up in his own fucking propeller like an idiot.
Chopped his own dick off. Chopped his own dick off with a propeller and a oneer.
I like how you have to open up the fucking canopy,
Yeah.
climb out there and put your hands in the propeller, and then when that doesn't work, you somehow you stand up on the nose of the crashing plane, and then somehow you get your dick and balls and nothing else into the propeller.
It's a cartoon, Jerry.
You go, Jesus, take the wheel, and you close your eyes and you slowly thrust your pelvis forward and hope
Slices it clean off.
just turns it into a fucking mist.
Mulch. Yeah.
Oh, I got mulch dick.
Yeah. That's not how he died. And, like, no one even took credit for it, you know, so...
That is how Launchpad.
Propellers can't talk.
But it it didn't stop the Italians from seeking revenge. And it was Graziani who, he got the okay from Mussolini, but he was the one who ordered indiscriminate bombing of just anywhere, including civilian populations,
Yeah, fucking.
and Red Cross hospitals. Which is not good.
Not a good look.
That is a
No.
war crime. That is a war
Rude.
crime.
It's poor manners.
He freely admitted to trying to exterminate all of the Abyssinians. He freely admitted to that he was trying to kill every motherfucking last one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, around this time, as the bombing is getting worse, as the war is getting worse, Pierre Laval, who was the French foreign diplomat that worked with the League, he was a piece of shit. He was a total piece of shit.
Really, Elon Musk.
He was a diplomat.
I just meant being a piece of shit.
Yeah. He would later work in collaboration with the Nazis in Vichy France on like a high level. He sold out his own people. Pierre Laval was a total piece of shit. Anyway, him and the British Foreign Secretary Samuel Hoare.
I mean, that's kind of an easy one.
Hoare. Samuel Hoare.
Locking in that name and waiting for an opportunity to use it in the most 5-cent way possible. I'm not just gonna be like horror nice. You know, that's
You're gonna really stink.
yeah.
All right. Well, Laval and Hoare got together for the Hoare-Laval Pact.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not to be
That's
confused
still-
with Laval's pact with horse.
All right. Is that the joke? Is that the
That's
5-cent
the
joke?
joke. That's the
You're like,
I'm
no,
gonna say 1 out of 3. It's gonna be a trilogy.
yeah.
Okay. Well,
right. I believe in you.
here's the place to make the jokes, I guess. Now, this pact between Britain and France, behind everybody's back, they would slice up pieces of Ethiopia without consulting Ethiopia and just give it to the Italians in return for a ceasefire.
Oh yeah.
This leaked to the press, and fucking no one liked it. Even like the British government and like even the French government, and everyone else was like, "What? You're just gonna make plans behind our back to slice up Ethiopia and hand it over to the Italians so they'll stop? That's fucked up, dude." And they're like, okay, we didn't mean it.
Meanwhile, the newspapers were like, I want one headline that says "Make love not whore," and then another one that says "Oh, the whore."
Jesus Christ.
That counts as 1.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah.
Okay.
You get one more,
Okay.
and it better be the best one yet, or I'm gonna fucking come unglued.
Well, he's already missed the boat because I don't bring him up again. So
Well, then just say one right now.
Whore.
There you go.
There it
His
is.
name was
just-
whore. It's like a prostitute or a sex worker. Sorry.
yeah.
It's funny.
I only used it in sex worker context 1 of the times.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd like to think I brought it all the way around.
You're a real joke smith.
Yeah,
Tyler.
His name was Hor. It's really funny. It's no, I don't know, Djibouti.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you guys. The whole country of Djibouti fucking hates us right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you have a hilarious name in our language. I'm sure the United States of America means like I don't know, doo-doo cock fucking play in some language.
I think it represents that in a lot of
and laugh.
countries just as is.
Yeah, it represents that in
Oh my
most
God.
countries.
Did you see our last president?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Have you seen our current
Not
president?
that funny.
Yeah, it's kind of just an old funny duddy. It's less funny. That's
Yeah.
It's more sad.
it is.
It's all sad. Then Mussolini, in complete disregard for the Geneva Convention, ordered the gas attacks. Now, mustard gas, and what it does, let me get into it.
It's delicious
It, not surprisingly, it causes cancer.
on a ham and rye. You know.
It dissolves things like fat and lipids, which
Ooh,
are
my
fatty,
lipids.
fatty acids that store energy and
I actually got a lot. Of
act as a structural components for cell membranes. Can you
Could
see
use
where?
a little bit of mustard gas.
Yeah.
Can you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
Yep.
It melts you from the inside.
It melts you. It
Yeah.
basically melts anything made of fat of animal
God, I'm
cells.
It was the original inspiration for Velveeta.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa.
It's disgusting.
Follow
I'm
up.
never going to eat Velveeta again.
I was never planning on it in the first place. That
When's
shit's
the last time you ate Velveeta?
I like a Velveeta.
I've never seen a product that says cheese with a question mark on it.
That's why I like it. You just pour it on there and you're like, it's
Hey,
real
I'm not
food.
hating on people who like Velveeta. It's fine.
I love
I'm
Velveeta.
just like, there's so much better cheese out there.
Yeah, but when you're like, dude, I've had a long day, let's just get some it's better than Easy Mac.
Back
Okay.
to the gas. So the
Okay.
gas started from Djibouti.
Oh my god, you guys.
Nice.
So within 24 hours of exposure to the mustard agent, victims experience intense itching, skin irritation, which gradually turns into large blisters that fill with yellow fluid
all over the body?
all over the body wherever the mustard agent contacts with the skin.
What's a gas? So I imagine most places.
Most places. The mustard gas vapor easily penetrates through clothing fabrics such as wool or cotton.
Oh, good.
So it is not only the exposed skin of victims that get burned. If the victim's eyes are exposed, they become sore, starting with conjunctivitis,
Oh, pink eye.
Yeah.
Dirty people's disease.
or you have been exposed to mustard gas.
Or you get your face farted on.
It's basically a big.
You got poop in your eyes, or you got mustard gas. Anyway, after which the eyelids swell, resulting in temporary blindness. In rare cases of extreme ocular exposure to mustard gas vapors, your eyes can lacerate or pretty much melt
Oh, my
in your
eyeball.
head.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Ugh.
While you're alive.
Don't like
While
that.
you're alive.
That sucks.
I need my eyes.
Now, at very high concentrations, if inhaled, mustard gas causes bleeding and blistering within the respiratory system, damaging mucous membranes and causing pulmonary edema. So your lungs also get the blisters on the inside, and it fills with pus, and you drown or in blood and pus. It is so lacerated that you can't breathe anymore.
Is there like a. Drowning in blood and pus sounds like one of the circles of hell.
Yeah,
Where it's just
right?
like, oh, here's the river of blood and pus.
Yeah. Even worse if it's your own lungs that are filling.
Somebody
That-
invented it and said, we should use this on people
Yeah.
to make them do what we say.
Yes, exactly. Well,
Well, they're not going to do anything after that.
they used it in the First World War, and the Geneva Convention said, "Hey, no more of that. You can't
Yeah.
do that anymore." Because
Yeah.
it's really fucking awful.
It's really, yeah.
It's really bad. Now, depending on the level of contamination, mustard gas burns can vary between first and second degree burns. Though,
Is it just a chemical burn?
yeah, it's a chemical burn, so you need, bleach and things to
Like in Fight Club.
mitigate it. Yes,
Neutralize
exactly.
the burn, yeah.
You want to pour water in your hand
They-
and make it worse?
Yeah. They can also be every bit as severe and disfiguring and dangerous as third-degree burns. Severe mustard gas agent burns, where, more than 50% of your body is burned by the gas, are often fatal, while death occurring after days or even weeks have passed. So you sit through that pain through that entire time before you actually die.
Put a bullet in my head, man.
Yeah. And there are...
There's no saving you.
There were like doctors and nurses that worked in hospitals that treated mustard gas victims, and they were like, dude, if you got your arm blown off, dudes would be up talking the next day and be fine the next day. But mustard gas, like, these guys would be writhing in their bed until they died. Like, it was horrific. Horrific. Mild or moderate exposure. Again, mild or moderate exposure to mustard gas is unlikely to kill, though victims require lengthy periods of medical treatment and convalescence before recovery is complete. This is something that the Ethiopians did not have at their disposal. Again, the best they had were Red Cross hospitals set up usually by other countries, and they were getting bombed. Because they used to think, like, oh, if we put up the Red Cross flag, it's like a big beacon to planes not to bomb us. Not the Italians. They would see that, and they would blow it the fuck up.
Jesus.
So, even if you were exposed to it mildly, you could still die from it in this conflict. Now, the Italian generals used it wantonly, even on civilian populations.
Jesus.
It was originally tossed out of planes in canisters, and it would hit the ground and it would sort of spill everywhere, and then it would kind of dissipate. So it wasn't super effective to do it that way. So what they did is they invented a sprayer on the back of their planes, and they would just, like, crop dust full towns, and just spray mustard gas over everything. And, I mean, all of a sudden, they called it the rain that burned. And all of a sudden, you're just burning. And it would poison the fields. It would kill livestock, of course. It would poison your wells. It would poison your rivers. It would poison all water.
I feel like we should change the name of the podcast to The Nazis Got Too Much Credit. Because I feel like every couple episodes we always find out about some other guys who are way good at genocide.
Yeah.
There's a lot of genocide.
I prefer to live in a world where the only time Mustard's doing any murdering is in a board game.
Yeah.
Nice.
No,
I get it. Clue.
It's Clue reference.
Yep.
The movie Clue is also
It's
pretty solid.
That maid was an awakening for me as a boy.
Yeah.
Still is an awakening for me as a man in a lot of ways.
Something awakens every time I watch that movie.
Jesus Christ.
And it's because of Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, for me, it's Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Martin Mull.
Yeah. That movie oozes sexuality.
It does, actually.
Got a little something for everybody.
Yeah.
There's all those people into your Martin Mull types.
Yeah.
There was accounts of people, like, coming over, like, a clearing, like coming over a hill, and seeing a field of people just writhing, of just people writhing in pain.
That's fucking horrifying.
With fucking boiled flesh and fried lungs. And there was nothing you could do for them. Absolutely fucking nothing you could do for them. And the indiscriminate use of mass amounts, and when I say mass amounts, in Mogadishu, they were manufacturing warehouses full of this shit. They were using it all over.
Jesus.
Mass amounts. And again, it just destroyed not just the people, but the land itself. You know what I mean? It poisoned the earth, you know what I mean, with all of this stuff. So one of my favorite characters of this whole thing...
Boba Fett.
No.
Is this the brown eagle?
No. You mean the brown condor.
That's it, yeah.
And then the black eagle.
Right.
No, I'm not going to get into those guys as much as I wanted to. We just don't have enough time. Again, read Prevail if you really want to get into that. Those guys are super interesting. I will mention them.
Gold Eagle, and he's so handsome.
The Black Eagle.
Oh, yeah.
Hubert Julian,
Why
yeah.
was I thinking Gold Eagle?
I don't know. His name was Ross Imru Haile Selassie.
Imru?
Imru. Ross
Emru.
Emru is how we're going to
Don't get stuck
refer
in
to
the
him.
Emru, is
Ross
what you're
Emru
saying.
is what we're going to
Ross Emru?
Ross Emru.
I'm always gonna think that you're trying to say emu, but you've developed some kind of speech impediment. But
It's the man's name.
It's not Tyler's fault.
It's Amharic, man.
okay, well,
Okay.
fair enough.
Well-
Sounds like the bird.
He was actually Haile Selassie's cousin, but he was one of the Rosses that was in charge of their own army, because the Rosses basically controlled their own armies. They were way decentralized. So they didn't have one Ethiopian army. They had all these armies controlled by the Rosses of Ethiopia. And Ross Emru Haile Selassie was like one of the best. Like in my mind, I think. In 1935 he was one of the main contributors to the Christmas Offensive, is what it was called. He led his division secretly throughout the north.
Was this on Christmas?
It was near Christmas. It was in December.
It's
Okay.
like when the Green Knight showed up at King Arthur's court. That was
Ooh.
Christmas.
Badass.
Or it's like the Christmas offensive when I try to get to the best pieces of ham before anyone else.
Which is
Yeah.
also a major scene in Green Knight. It's weird you haven't seen that.
Yeah, well,
It's a great movie. Fans, go watch it.
he's like, I'm the Green Knight, and I love ham
And eggs.
and eggs.
You know what I'm saying? Green
Yeah,
eggs and
green,
I get it.
green eggs and ham night.
He's like,
that's-
I don't like them, Sam. I am. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, The Green Knight, which just came out in theaters.
No, now in theaters.
I didn't realize we were sponsored by The
Yeah,
Green Knight.
right.
Now in theaters.
Yeah, playing everywhere. Anyway, now Ross Emru's plan was brilliantly simple. He would send patrols in one direction, and what he was doing is he was trying to make the Italians think that they were moving in that direction, and so they'd find them there, like they were meant to be found, and then just run back, and then so they're like, okay, well, I think they're heading off in this direction, so they started going in this specific direction, and the specific place Ross Emru wanted them to go was down this narrow mountain pass. And when I say narrow, I mean so narrow. Like, you can't, like, move your guns on your tanks in a certain
300
direction.
Spartans narrow.
It's so narrow. It might more narrow than Thermopylae.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
super
Wow.
narrow
narrow.
as shit.
Yeah, and
I've
so
seen that documentary.
yeah. And what happened is that they didn't know that they were all around them. You know what I mean? And
Nah.
when they got inside of the whole mountain pass, they rolled boulders on both sides and
Cool.
trapped them inside, and then just slaughtered them, and like straight up just appeared out of nowhere, and
No
like
bene,
there was
no bene.
no good. Yeah, and like they like snipers from nowhere like were just shooting down on them, and like the tanks couldn't shoot anything, you know.
I'm surprised.
like-
Like, weren't you saying, like, did they view this as dishonorable?
Well, some of the Rosses took to guerrilla tactics more so than others. Ross Emru was one that utilized guerrilla tactics to his advantage.
Were there people who were like, you were dishonorable, you shouldn't do this shit?
Not among Ross Emru's people. Again,
Okay.
they were so segmented.
Okay.
And
I was
decentralized.
thinking it was like Ghost of Tsushima, where like his master is like, you shouldn't be fucking sneaking around cutting people's throats.
That was sort of a prevailing thought among Ethiopians at the time, but again, depending on who you were with, they took to it a little bit easier.
Well,
right?
I would also argue desperate times call for
Yeah.
desperate measures.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, it was a total bloodbath. Because again, like, they're using these bolt-action old-ass rifles against, like, these
Machine guns.
machine guns. Yeah.
Right.
I think
And-
honor goes out the window once you start turning my family into gazpacho. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you're
I
absolutely
do.
right.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, what comes down to it, I honestly,
fucking
Ghost of Tsushima, the
Yeah.
whole fucking plot, or the whole message is honor versus survival,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and it's fucking war, man. And war's not nice. It's
I do-
ugly.
Yeah.
You know?
It's
and-
weird. I weirdly kind of have the, like, I think that war shouldn't happen at all costs, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, if it means if maxing out war, like Curtis and Lay says,
yeah,
ends it.
Sometimes
like,
you kind of
is that the like I don't have these answers, obviously. But
but
these
you have
philosophical thought of
you got to ask yourself what's more ethical, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, slaughtering people brutally until they quit, or letting it drag on. You know. So I
don't have good answers for that.
No,
obviously,
nor do
this is why I'm not a general.
Yeah.
None of us has majored in peace, war, and diplomacy. Just FYI.
War, what is it good for? Creating
Absolutely
podcasters.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
There was one Ethiopian patriot, because that's what they called themselves. They called themselves patriots. He jumped up on top of a tank with a sword, and he just started yelling, "Open up! Open up! Open up!" And stupidly, the dudes opened the tank, and the guy poked his head out, and he immediately got his head chopped off.
Jesus Christ.
He's like,
what?
do I got mail?
He's like, there's a chance it might be chicks out there.
Is there babes out there?
I am driving a Fiat after all.
It could be that babe back in fucking Florence that I've been crushing on forever down here in Ethiopia. I better stick my head out.
Yeah.
He knew it wasn't. He knew his life was desperate, like, and pathetic, and he had to end it. And he fucking jumped out there and let his head get cut off because he knew she would never love him back.
That's a whole story. Oh my god.
For a different day.
I drank my beer after I said that, and the punctuation I felt.
It was on point.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like a victory, it was a small victory. It would not be enough to stop the onslaught of the Italian invasion.
Much like Thermopylae.
Yeah. As planes started to appear over Addis Ababa, and, you know, they started strafing and bombing and things like this, Haile Selassie himself, who was, you know, he was hanging out there, and they, like, covered shit, you know, like camouflage and stuff. He actually, himself, this is insanity, Haile Selassie jumped on a AA gun, anti-aircraft gun, and straight up was like, like shooting these things down.
Say, it's like Cuba and Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Same height.
Gun.
Yeah.
Haile Selassie was 5'2". I looked it up.
Yeah,
recently.
he was a short guy. He was a small guy.
He was probably the tallest person in the entire world at that point.
No, most people were like, "Wow, he's kind of the small, dignified emperor."
He's like General Grievous. I thought you'd be taller.
Yeah. Ooh, Star Wars reference. Always makes me happy.
And his his court officials and like orderlies that were like around him were like standing around him watching him do it, and like he like stopped and he was like, "What the hell are y'all standing around for? Like, get out of here! You're gonna make a target out of me!
Stab somebody.
Jesus Christ, do something! Like, you guys are just standing around watching me, you know." He's like, "Scatter, run!"
That's really badass.
It's insanely badass.
By the way, I imagine the pictures you show with all the medals and
whatever, he's
like
in his hat,
full regalia, just like
yelling,
his head slowly sliding down over his brow.
It's sweating, you know.
Yeah. Now after the thing is they got real close to Addis Ababa, and everyone around Haile Selassie was like, "We gotta leave." And he's like, "I don't want to leave because that'll be showing my people that I'm running." And they're like, "Yeah, but without you, we don't have like hope. We don't have like a figurehead." And he's like, "All right." So they go to a place called Gore, and they hide out in like a cave there.
Named after Al.
I was gonna say Verbinski.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And after shit got heated there, Haile Selassie had to make the agonizing decision to flee Ethiopia and go to Europe. And this was not an easy decision for him to make.
How does he get to Europe that easily?
Flee Ethiopia.
The Ethiopian Air Force, headed by the Brown Condor.
Ooh.
John Robinson. He was an American. He was the father of the Tuskegee Airmen, and he went to Ethiopia to fight for Ethiopia.
Wait, you mean all the Tuskegee Airmen were his kids?
No.
God damn it.
He was like the first Tuskegee Airman.
I knew what you meant. I was being rude.
He was a great pilot, and he would actually run reconnaissance missions and messages back and forth because he was really talented. Even in his outdated plan, he was really talented at barnstorming, which is like doing crazy tricks and flips and hiding in clouds and shit to get the Italian fighters off
I thought that was
their
like flying
back.
through a barn, which you have to do in a lot of flight simulators.
That's like it's a metaphor, yeah. That they
And chickens
use.
fly. They go, and you go, you know.
Yeah.
The dude sounds like a regular Han Solo. Like,
Dude, he was a badass.
Like,
I love
you know,
John Robinson.
flying around this old rust bucket.
Yeah, dude.
Like, that's Han Solo.
Yeah, man.
Orlando Calrissian.
Orlando Calrissian, you're
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
right.
Probably a little more accurate.
He's a smooth operator.
Also, the original owner of the Millennium Falcon.
and unlike most of the Tuskegee Airmen, he got syphilis the old-fashioned way.
Jesus Christ, you
Fuck.
guys.
No, that's fair.
He never got syphilis.
No,
I know that there was a joke, but I think the fact that we're addressing the fact that Tuskegee Airmen all were given syphilis
by the U.S. government.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
And that reminds me, don't forget to go get the COVID vaccine if you haven't gotten it. You got to trust the government if they're going to give you shots.
In this case.
In this case, I know it's rough.
Trusting
Yeah.
science.
Yeah.
Haile Selassie was smuggled out of Ethiopia. The British gave him asylum in a town called Bath in England.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
I haven't been there personally, but I've heard of a town called Bath.
Yeah, he stayed in a home there. People in Bath actually really adored him because here was this emperor in exile, and he was incredibly well dressed. Like, go look at pictures of him. Like, he wears these capes and shit. Like, I want to dress like Haile Selassie.
Also, like Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, honestly,
sure,
yeah,
yeah.
capes and shit. Yeah,
Oh, I wonder if that's where they got the idea.
I don't know. Anyway, but he was, very polite. Like, the man exuded, dignity. The man was so dignified and everything, and everyone just loved him.
It's like if Obama didn't joke around and wore a cape.
He made it sound like I didn't like Obama on the grounds that he was joking around too much.
Just joking around, laughing it up with his buddy.
Laughing it up.
With his buddy, the current president.
Joseph
Biden?
Biden.
No.
Diamond Joe
I
Biden.
don't know.
I don't know.
I don't follow politics.
Doddering old fucking skeleton. I voted for him.
Yeah. Because he
too.
isn't Donald Trump.
Yeah. It
I
says
would
more
have
about
voted for a
Donnie.
moldy
Yeah.
old sandwich over that guy.
People did resent him for leaving Ethiopia. They
That
did.
doesn't surprise me.
You can't win.
Yeah, but it was conflated by Italian propaganda.
Oh,
They
those
straight up
motherfuckers.
said that, like, oh, your leader ran away from you.
He abandoned you. You're
and
fucked.
they also said that he robbed the treasury and he was living in the lap of luxury in Britain. This is not true. He was broke as fuck in Britain. He did not rob the
He was
treasury.
living in a bathtub, apparently.
He had time
Diogenes
to
style.
pack 3 capes.
Yeah. He was living in a barrel.
Yeah.
I was making a joke on the name Bath.
If he was
Yeah.
really living in comfort, he'd be living in a shower. Because everyone says that baths are better, but if you pee in the bathtub, then you're bathing in your own pee. And if you're
What
in a
are you,
shower,
4
you
years
can pee
old?
all you want, and you're not gonna. You know what? I don't care how old you are. Take a bath and try not to pee, okay? Just try not to pee even a little. No one's gonna know
I do
except
not
you
enjoy
and God.
baths. I detest baths. I don't like them.
I like him every now and again.
I also am huge.
Yeah,
That's why you
true.
need an extra big bathtub.
I had an extra big bathtub at the last place I lived.
Did
I'm
not
still
care
too
for
big.
it.
I'm still
Okay.
too big. I want to submerge.
If Raphael from the Ninja Turtles can fit in a bathtub in Ninja Turtles,
Oh,
1,
they
the
made that bathtub big enough.
That was a William Howard Taft bathtub.
a Taft tub.
A Taft tub.
Bathtub.
He was in a Taft tub.
That's all legend, by the way. That's not real.
That's actually not true. Yeah,
Yeah,
him getting
he
stuck.
didn't get stuck in a bathtub.
Well, he'd have to could you imagine he'd be like wedging his way down there, water spilling over the sides.
Yeah,
Like,
come on, it didn't happen. They were just making fun of him.
Arrgh. That was Nixon. But
That was Nixon.
Yeah,
to quote Richard Nixon, arrgh.
it's like a dog. Not a bad name for a dog, Richard Nixon, or just Dick Nixon. Anyway, Nixon. Sorry.
That is good.
Haile Selassie's main objective in exile was to go personally to Geneva and present himself and address the League of Nations.
Yeah, so they drop mustard gas on our asses.
Yeah.
They're like, it's a gray area since you're
No one liked it.
in a non-white country.
And that's pretty much what their justification
I
was
knew it.
after the war.
Fucking
Right.
knew it.
Yeah, so anyway, he goes to Geneva. He's like, well, I'm gonna tell him what's up in Ethiopia right now while y'all are sitting on your hands here. You know, when he gets there, he steps up to the podium, and the Italian legation starts whistling and hooting and hollering while he's up there to try to make sure he can't speak. Yeah, and there's
What a bunch of
film.
fucking assholes.
There's film of it, like them whistling and whatnot. The second he stands up there, and actually the Romanian diplomat went like, you know, can you take out? I forget the direct quote, but he was like, expel these savages, calling the Italians savages.
I mean, I'm sure that
They had to be-
said they were Italians.
Yeah, he
But
had to be kicked out.
I have
The
yet to
Italians had to be
hear
kicked out.
really much about fascist Italy that makes me go, thumbs up.
I know, right?
You know?
Yeah. It's nationalistic.
I guess the trains.
You got to
which
be
is some
Italian.
bullshit.
You had to be there.
You had to be there. It was dope if you were in the mix.
This whole story just it smacks of another another story that I remember from my youth of a queen narrowly escaping her home to go speak before the delegation in the film Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom
Oh
Menace.
my god.
I thought you were talking about Emma Watson.
It is a similar instance, though, where she's talking about a existential threat that is going to destroy her fucking
Only instead of just
everything she
a
does.
military blockade by the Trade Federation, it's
Yeah.
actually much more serious with the genocide.
Yeah, exactly.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a kid's movie.
So yeah, the Italians were removed to restore order, and in Amharic, he wanted to give it the passion that it deserved.
Thank
That's
you.
why that's why he said this in Amharic, not in French. And he kind of said that too. But what he would do is he would address them and talk about the unjust war that was ravaging his people, talking about this more powerful country destroying this smaller country, less advanced country. He shamed the League for their inaction. And he went into detail about the flagrant gas attacks, which they were all like, oh, God. You know, oh, no.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. He described the ruined state of his country, and he explained that he'd never wanted this war. He was invaded. He'd never wanted to do this.
I do like that they were just, oh yeah, we got invaded one time, we beat them, and then like way later, they came back all pissed off and fucking mustard gassed us.
Yeah.
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 And we are part of this league that is supposed to stop that from happening,
Exactly.
and y'all didn't, and now I'm here calling you out for
Yeah.
it.
Meanwhile, the Italian delegation is like, that's the way we found it when we got there. And the league's like, sounds good to us.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't side with Germany is all.
They're like, oh, we won't. Wink.
We won't. Yeah.
If I was Ethiopia, I'd be like, where are them Germans at?
Yeah, right.
Right.
You guys are a bunch of fucking assholes.
Let me talk to these guys.
Yeah.
Didn't they get guns and stuff from Germany?
Oh, yeah. Because at that time, Hitler thought, like, oh, the more whites dead in Europe is less for my Germans to kill.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He didn't really see the
It wasn't like,
Well, he didn't see the allyship between Italy and Germany yet either. No one saw that coming yet until after the Spanish Civil War, really, where they kind of made friends. But I'm jumping ahead a little bit.
tell the entire history of World War II.
He also shamed France and Great Britain for their spineless courting of Italy's friendship above all else, it seemed.
That seems pretty legitimate.
Yeah, it's 100%
Everything he said, I
legitimate.
feel like, yeah.
His whole speech, like when you read through it, your heart just fucking hurts for his country. You know what I mean? Because all of it is true. He's not like making anything up. He's not propagandizing anything like Italy would or anyone else would. He's telling the truth, and he's saying like, "This is what's happening in my fucking country, and I was a member of this here league to stop this from happening. And for some reason here, we're all sitting here, and you're listening to me. I'm in exile,
Well,
guys."
the other ones have alternative facts, and
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
alternative facts. That's
You know.
one of the worst things our country has ever heard, by the way. It's the most damaging thing we've ever heard.
Yeah.
This is at the end of his speech, and one of the most powerful parts of his speech, and I will read it. Quote, "You great powers who have promised to give guarantees of collective security, lest small nations be extinguished and the fate which has overtaken Ethiopia should befall them as well, have you considered what kind of assistance to provide so that Ethiopia's liberty shall not be destroyed and her territorial integrity shall be respected? You representatives of the world assembled here, I have come to you, to Geneva, to carry out the saddest duty that has befallen an emperor. What answer am I to take back to my people?" And as he kind of like walked away from the microphone, he said, "It will be us today. It will be you tomorrow."
Ooh,
And he was
that's
fucking
a
right.
Great point.
Yeah.
That's a great fucking point.
He was right.
Oh, I like
He was
that.
totally right. And it's like the most bone-chilling fucking statement.
I mean, did they
maybe
take it
I've
that
ever
way?
heard.
But
Well, it
in context, knowing that a world war is coming,
yeah.
it's bone chilling to us.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
they take it that way?
They
Were they
were
like-
taken aback. They were the, yeah. Well, just that's so bad, that kind of a thing. But they couldn't see what was. I mean, the Spanish Civil War hadn't happened yet.
Right.
Well, I think if they, I do think that if they really knew it was happening, they would have been like, "All right, Italy, you're out of,
Yeah.
you're done."
Yeah.
Well, I feel like nowadays that, we can actually see all the terrible things happening all over the world. It's created so much more empathy and compassion, being able to see, the genocide and the natural disasters. And it hasn't just created a general pile of apathy across everybody.
Well, yeah.
I was like, "Where is Tyler going with this?" It was solid. Yeah.
Seeing it or not, people don't fucking care unless
No,
it's
it's,
happening.
well, the thing is,
Too much is in your face
Yeah.
and not in your face.
well, yeah, and like when we saw like Vietnam, like the first televised war, really, it was supposed to like show people how ugly war can be, but instead it made a generation of numb people
right.
to horrific atrocities across the globe.
Yeah, we all grew up
and
with green cities on TV getting
Yeah.
fucking bombed.
yeah, cities getting bombed, famines happening, which is going to happen here pretty soon in this story.
Oh, good. I think here in America. I was like, no, we'll be great forever.
Yeah.
Nothing bad could happen here with shitty leadership.
Yeah, we grew up seeing some of the most horrific things the world has to offer on a screen, and I don't think it's affected us in maybe the desired way,
Totally.
whatever that way is. Anyway, but Haile Selassie, he did get sick in Bath. He was not used to the weather. He was not used to how cold it was.
The bath got cold.
It's cold and probably
Mostly urine at that point.
less. Was he wet or dry?
It was a wet, cold area. Yeah.
No, I mean where he originally was from.
Oh,
Dry.
It's dry as
That's what I
fuck,
did.
my friend. Yeah.
I know what England is like.
Yeah. It's
He
dry
was-
as fuck.
It was
yeah.
dry and hot.
And hot.
And
yeah.
so we went to wet and cold.
Yep.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. And added to that, 2 of his daughters were killed as a direct result of the Italian invasion. 2 of his sons-in-law were executed by Italians as well. So, yeah, dark days in the life of Haile Selassie, for sure. To everyone around him, he definitely looked more sullen. Because, again, he didn't want to leave Ethiopia. He never wanted any of this to happen.
I mean, it was lose-lose.
It's a lose-lose. Yeah.
So much worse than the British invasion.
I disagree.
I'd rather.
Actually, I like the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Anyway.
Led Zeppelin. Not
End of list.
I mean, there's others. The
There's
Who.
others. Yeah. Anyway.
The who?
Nice.
Meanwhile, on May 5th, 1936, the March of the Iron Will, that the Italians called it, led by Pietro Badoglio, they entered Addis Ababa, declaring victory over Ethiopia. They changed the name of Ethiopia to the Italian East Africa. They even moved in Italian colonists. So up until this point, Ethiopia had never been colonized, but here they are
This sucks.
being colonized
They just-
for just a bit.
They just come in and
These
just
are dark
over
days,
over
man.
all the corpses. They just put some tables with like checkered tablecloths down and
Throw some Dean Martin.
yeah, guy with like an accordion.
Yeah. People had to hide. They changed the currency.
The euro? Yeah.
No.
I was joking.
Lira. They weren't used to it. They didn't see any value in the Italian currency. Anyone caught trading under the table, so to speak, were imprisoned and probably killed.
It's a tough thing about
they-
currency that happens, in
Yeah.
reality a lot. It's like the populace has to adapt it.
Yes,
Or it won't,
or it won't
means
work.
nothing.
Right.
Yeah, it won't work. So they were basically just taking what they wanted and then throwing meaningless paper currency at them, and they would execute people with no trial, nothing like that. And this from a country that claimed to be a civilizing force on a backwards savage nation is what they called it. It's the most disgusting.
It sounds like
fucking thing.
fascism to me.
Yeah, it's terrible. They actually brought Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Italian Somaliland together into one landmass during this time, and called it Italian East Africa. All of it was together.
I bet you that went over really well.
Well, I mean, no one liked it. Like
Nobody's happy.
Like in Fallout, where
Yeah.
you make a decision
Yeah.
and it goes, no one liked that. That
Everybody
happens
hated
all the
that.
time in this. No one
Yeah.
liked that.
I like that meme.
All right.
That's like,
Yeah, no one liked that.
I think it's everyone hated
Oh
it.
yeah, everyone hated that.
Yeah. I've done that. It's when you go into like a town and you start killing everybody. and it's
Everyone
like,
hated that.
All right. You lose points on everything.
Yeah. Graziani became governor of Addis Ababa. The remaining patriots were still fighting outside of the city, and the Ethiopian resistance was actually pretty robust. I don't have much time to get into the meat of the Ethiopian resistance, but it makes the French resistance look like Sesame Street.
Nice.
Like some of the shit they had to do, because French resistance fighters could move about in public and no one would see them,
yeah.
right?
Well,
Whereas
and the literal color of your skin is different.
Ethiopians could not. Like there could be an Italian black shirt that could just shoot you in the middle of the street for fucking no reason. No reason at all.
Right.
Wow, this is so fucked.
Yeah. There was a lot of these patriot forces that were hunted down and killed.
Were
The
there a
movement-
lot of people who were just like, I mean, it had to happen where it was like, oh, you have this skin color and you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Oh yeah,
That had to happen all the fucking time.
honestly, somewhat on both sides, because like George Bernard Shaw, writer and leftist and socialist, he went to Ethiopia or Eritrea before the war started, and he goes, "Hey man," like he was telling another guy, he's like, "We got to get out of here before the war starts, because if we're white and we're in the middle of this war, we'll get shot for being white."
Yeah.
This was very much blacks
whites-
versus whites.
The whites were the invaders. They
Yeah.
should get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, and that's the way a lot of the world saw it, including in America.
That the whites were the invaders.
Whites
Well,
versus
most
black.
of the time,
It
the whites
was,
are the invaders. Am I right?
no, they are
all the
definitely
time.
are.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's why I was like, did America at this time actually view it that way? I bet the African Americans.
African Americans absolutely did. Italian Americans, I don't
Yeah,
want
no,
to
I get it.
talk
You kinda
too
talked
much
about it
shit,
in the last
but
one, but
yeah, it was viewed that way, absolutely. So and that went the same for the Ethiopians. Anyone that was black, was free game basically, and it would amplify again. And I'll get there.
This is so awful.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
These are the dark days. These are the dark days. Ras Imru, he had to surrender to the Italians. He was thrown in prison where he was actually taken to Italy, where he sat in prison until the end of the war. So he sat in prison from like 1935 or 36 until the end of the war. Harrowing.
Wow.
He lived
Jesus.
a full life after that too. We'll see. Ras Imru. There was also King Victor Emmanuel III of Italy was declared the new emperor of Ethiopia. Yeah, they did horrible shit. Like there was a 1600-year-old obelisk that was there in Addis Ababa that was stolen and taken to Italy as a spoil of war.
Yeah.
But it was sort of a national symbol that they all rallied behind.
That's why. They
And
did.
Yeah, and it was taken.
That's
and,
a thing they do.
Yeah, and anyone caught mourning it or crying about it or speaking out against it were shot or tossed into prison or into concentration camps, because of course they had concentration camps as well.
And some things never go out of style.
Yeah,
Jeez.
the obelisk wouldn't be returned until much later.
It was returned?
It was.
I was
but
like, is it still in like
much later.
a museum? Like a lot of this shit in fucking...
Well, the British Museum and the French
the
Museum.
Yes,
yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. The British Museum.
Yeah, it was much later. But this is like a national symbol, this obelisk. It was bad for them to see that go. And they lived under the Italian yoke for a long time, a couple of months, actually into 1937. And, I mean, up until the place was liberated, this is what the reality was like for Ethiopians living under the Italian yoke.
It's like back-to-back Mondays, man.
Yeah.
You don't hate Mondays, you hate capitalism.
Yes, indeed.
But the best thing about Mondays is lasagna.
Is that Garfield?
Yeah, because he hates Mondays.
But he likes lasagna.
So he eats the lasagna on Monday.
Is that true?
To make the Monday less bad. And that's always
one of my favorite thing about that is he hates Mondays. John works Monday through Friday. John, what's his name? Arbuckle.
Yeah.
He doesn't hate Mondays. He misses John.
Oh.
But he'd never say it. And that's the real... Cats are like that.
Oh, yeah.
Wait.
They'll miss you. They won't tell you.
They'll never tell you.
But they miss you.
Maybe
he's like, I hate Mondays.
Maybe it's not that he hates Mondays. It's
He
just that he
misses John.
really enjoys the Sunday.
Because
And
he
the
knows...
contrast
Is palpable.
Yeah, it's palpable to him.
What does he enjoy about Sunday? The only difference is that John's home.
Maybe he's a very religious man. And
And
enjoys
that's why I
going to
named my
church.
cat after John's owner.
Ah.
Well, his name was Dr. John Sparkles. We both named him.
Yeah.
So February 19th, 1937, while trying to give a speech, Graziani basically, he's like, let's have a parade and have a speech where I'll come out and I'll talk about how great fascism is. So he was trying to give a speech. You know, people are looking on. The only people that are there are like poor people that are there for alms because there's no food and everything's super expensive. So he's giving the speech about how great everything is.
Isn't everything going great? You starving masses.
Was he eating a giant plate of spaghetti and meatballs in front of all the starving people while talking about how great fascism is?
No,
More or
lasagna.
less.
It was Monday.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I don't know what day it was.
I would expect it would be a calzone because he'd be able to eat it with his hand.
Oh, yeah.
I was on the go.
Yeah,
I
he's a
mean,
man on the go.
You know, in my opinion, I think if a good calzone, you still can't eat it with your bare hands. You still need a fork and knife.
Well, there was some Eritrean rebels that were going to try something.
Ooh.
All right.
And so they got together and they figured out, like, okay, this day the Italians are going to do this, and we want Graziani, like, because that guy...
He's got to go.
He's got to go. He's bad. He's awful. He's the one ordering all of this shit, you know? So what they do is, as he's making his speech,
Drop a bomb in his
Fucking head.
they throw grenades at him.
Yes.
Like, multiple grenades
they
at him.
literally do.
Yeah.
Drop a bomb in his fucking head.
And the so-called Butcher of Faison runs for his life, and it's way like George Costanza, like pushing an old lady out of the way. Like
with
he
the clown,
ran.
It's on fire.
Oh yeah, he ran for his life. Not taking. He didn't try to be heroic or anything. He ran for his own life, and it exploded. A piece of shrapnel hit him in the face, scarring him forever.
Fucking
And
badass.
yeah,
just
they
like that
blew
episode of just like what happened to George.
yeah, it scarred him for life. But yeah, he ran for his own life. He showed his cowardice, and then the shooting started because they ran. They booked it out of there. But the Italian guards, the black shirts, they opened fire on the crowd, on the poor, starving crowd.
Yeah.
They opened
Who are not
fire
necessarily with people
and just
through the
started
fucking
just
thing.
shooting everybody. Just yeah. Graziani, who was mad that this had happened, he ordered over the next 3 days. He even said over the next 3 days there would be the worst massacre in Ethiopian history.
Jesus.
In Ethiopian history,
Which is one of the longest running empires of all time.
well, yeah. One of the countries with the longest history of any place on Earth. It was the worst massacre in their history. And what happened is he told his soldiers that they had carte blanche for the next 3 days to do literally whatever they wanted with the Ethiopian
That's something you
populace.
don't tell soldiers ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, robbing, raping, and murdering was rampant for 3 days. Now
Fucking gross.
the Italians would tell people, a couple hundred died, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people, a couple hundred.
How many people got robbed and raped? Also, way more people died.
Yeah, but the thing is, according to other sources, more accurate sources, around 20,000 people died.
Fuck me.
20% of the population was killed
Jesus.
in 3 days. Not by bombs, not by mustard gas, but by people going on the street and just shooting people and
God
dragging them out of their
damn.
homes and fucking capping them on the street.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
So the 200, that was a blatant fucking lie.
Oh, yeah.
You might as well say
Yeah.
nobody got killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone got flowers and cake.
Yeah.
You might as well have said that.
It was one of the most disgraceful acts of human
God
cruelty ever
damn.
committed. Over 3 days, 20% of the population was decimated. Now, in the meantime, Hitler took a couple of pages out of Mussolini's playbook.
It's like, not bad ideas.
Well, he watched what happened. He was watching Ethiopia. He saw what happened. And he just reoccupied the Rhineland. And he was like, no one's going to say shit.
Yep.
And he, like, they even, like, low-key, like, told, like, the Wehrmacht, like, if you see French soldiers, just run, dude. Run away. Because we're not actually as strong as, like, as the Wehrmacht would come to be.
Right.
It would come to be known. At this time, they
The
weren't
dog was
really.
in the turnip patch.
Yeah.
As you were.
So
Yeah.
when they went into the Rhineland, no one did shit. The fucking League of Nations didn't do shit. And so, like, Hitler's
Sounds
like,
like
this
they
is are
never
fucking
did shit.
useless? Yeah,
I
fucking
don't know
useless.
who I hate more, Fascist Italy or the League of Nations.
What do they say? Like, where it's like,
They're like, don't do that.
no, what is that phrase where it's like,
Don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness.
well, there's that. I'm saying, like,
He didn't even ask for forgiveness.
when you do
Right.
nothing in times of.
Oh, apathy's worse than
What is that?
Well, Martin
There's
Luther King
also, like,
Jr. said.
if you have the power to.
Martin Luther King Jr. said the only.
That's what I'm thinking of.
It's the only time where. It's something about good men doing nothing in times of strife.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good men doing nothing.
Can become evil or something like that. I don't have the quote
We're
in front
so
of me.
stupid. But
Yeah.
there's that other line where it's like about if you have the power to do something and, you
And
do
not
nothing,
doing it, you're
those
complicit.
things happen because of you.
Yeah, you're complicit.
With great power
there
comes
comes great responsibility.
Yeah, you're complicit if you have the power to do
Spider-Man.
something and you don't.
It all
Right.
goes
Yeah.
back to Spider-Man. I love him. I
And
love
the
you,
League of
Spider-Man.
Nations had the power, and they did nothing.
Yeah.
Hitler was emboldened by Ethiopia. When he took the Sudetenland, same thing. Like Neville Chamberlain, peace in our time, held that useless sheet of paper that Hitler had signed.
So basically, like, France and England. Look,
Yeah.
bear with me for a second. France and England letting this shit happen
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want to piss off Italy.
well, because they were the strongest members.
Emboldened
Yeah,
Germany to do their shit,
yeah.
and then eventually Italy joins Germany.
Well, because what happened is that
So they fucked
this
up.
is this is when the Spanish Civil War happened, and there's a fascist person that wants story for a different day wants to get into power in Spain. Of course, it's backed by the Nazis and Fascist Italy. This is where they became friends. This is where Italy and Germany, because Germany was like, hey, I'm like you. I took the Rhineland and the Sudetenland because I thought it was mine, and no one liked that. And you took Ethiopia because you thought it was yours, and no one liked that. We should be friends. And then they were. Right?
That makes sense.
And then, Japan conducted the rape of Manchuria. Another story for a different
Is it
day.
the same thing
For the,
where they-
for the same fucking reason. Well, not for the same...
Well, to the same end.
But they did it because they knew that the League would do nothing. That they
Yeah,
were
'cause the
completely
League-
spineless.
The League never did anything until World War II started.
And then they were gone. The League was useless by that point. Once Italy and Germany became friends, the point of the League was completely moot. It was gone by that point. It was over
So
by
the
that
League
point.
was meaningless and just
it was
it was pageantry.
it was supposed to be like the road paved to hell is in good intentions.
I can't
Right.
wait until I make my own spin-off podcast about how much I hate the TV show The League, and I use all of this audio to make it seem like you guys don't like it either.
I don't like the league, so yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
I barely know anything about the league.
Everyone's always like, you like it, it's funny, it's not even that much about football. I'm like, but it's called The League.
No, I've seen it. I've seen a few
It's
episodes.
about fantasy
I don't
football,
think
isn't
it's
it?
funny.
Yeah.
But once this happened, once Italy and Germany joined, like everyone always points to when Germany crossed over the line into Poland and caused that's
Or when
not
Germany crossed the line into Belgium in World War One.
right. That's not really accurate. It would be more accurate to say that the way World War II started was when Italy and Germany became allies. Because at that point, there was no point of the League anymore. Like, once that happened, like, the French and the British were like, well, fuck, I guess it's every man for himself
So it's
then,
pretty
isn't
much
it?
just the French and the
And,
British
well, and
against the world.
yeah, because the League was basically a big rubber stamp for the French and the British, right? And if they met outside of the League, then the League was fucking pointless anyway. Because
They
the other
fucked up.
countries couldn't fucking make it... As we were seeing, other countries couldn't fucking get a word in edgewise, right?
Meanwhile, the French and the English were like, and we tried so hard to get everyone to get along, and you guys weren't even trying, and we put this whole thing together, and you guys...
We tried nothing, and we're all out of
Yeah, we
ideas.
got like a group. We got a room together. And we got this
Well,
cool
it's like
table. And
it's like when like people have a scheme and they lie behind people's backs to like each other, and then it blows up in their face, and they wonder why. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yes.
Like they weren't being transparent; they were being fucking shitheads the entire time. And of course, France was insanely internally divided. It turned into the Free French and Vichy France. Like the Nazi collaborators
Yeah.
and the Free French, like the Charles de Gaulle
Yeah.
French and
Right.
like the Pierre Laval French. So meanwhile, while shit is getting dark, there was a British commander, a colonel. This guy is also he's almost a story for a different day because he is another one of my favorite characters throughout this whole
I love
thing
good
that
characters.
that sort of attracted these sort of colorful characters. He was again British. He was Charles Ord Wingate, or Ord Wingate.
Ord Wingate.
Ord.
That's
Yeah.
a fucking name.
Not to be
Or to Wingate
confused.
one name.
No, Ord is his first name.
Well, I thought Charles
Wingate.
was his first name.
Yeah, but he went by Ord.
Well, his middle name was Or. You know this better than the rest of us.
I
He
know,
was
yeah, he
commonly
went by that.
mistaken
Charles-
with Lord Wingate,
Yeah,
who is
no.
the guy that I just made up right now.
Yeah,
Honestly, Lord Wingate sounds very prestigious.
yeah. He was
We're
not a
talking
lord.
about Charles Ord Wingate.
No, Ord
So
Wingate.
Ord was his middle name, and he went by that name.
yes, indeed.
Much like a Jerry Nash does.
Yeah, yes, indeed. He was in the Sudan, and just across the border.
And he's
And-
like, what's going on over there? This isn't cool.
Yeah, I don't like this. Once the British joined the war in fighting the Italians, he founded something called the Gideon Force.
Ooh.
Because Wingate was a very religious man. What he would do, the Gideon Force, it was a reference to the Bible of a biblical judge that used a small guerrilla force to attack and kill a bigger force, right?
Right.
So that's why it was the Gideon Force. And he was training Sudanese fighters and Ethiopian people that had run across the border. He was training them in his own force to carry out these daring raids and shit like that. And the guy was kind of a fucking madman.
And he looked... if it was a movie, he'd be cast by Charlton Copley.
Okay. I see
Who?
it.
Sorry?
From District 9.
Oh!
Okay.
Yeah!
I mean,
absolutely.
You know who he looks like
Free
a
Fire.
lot?
Yeah.
And Free Fire,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
absolutely.
looks like Roy Scheider.
You think
A
Roy
little
Scheider?
bit.
I can see a little bit of the Roy Scheider.
In the
When he's
previous
young?
generation.
Is that the picture you're seeing?
Yeah.
That's Roy Scheider.
In the
Yeah,
previous
Charlton
generation. Dude, the guy
I
from...
see that too.
The guy from District 9.
Honestly, I realize Charlton Copley looks like Roy Scheider right now.
Fair enough.
But I'm like, dude, this guy looks like...
So, this
Fans
dude...
at home, tell me this guy doesn't look like Roy Scheider.
Yeah.
And also, fans at home, would you want to see a remake of Sequest with Charlton Copley in the Roy Scheider role?
I kind of would. Anyway, he was an eccentric by all means.
So he's rich.
I mean, he's a British officer, but he's still considered a hero in Israel to this day for what he did. Again, he lived a whole other life from this part of the story. He's sort of a whole episode in of himself, really. This guy's kind of, he's super interesting. Anyway, he gave like long lectures about the Bible to his soldiers. He ate raw onions, just raw onions,
What the
like
fuck
an
is
apple.
he, Shrek?
He even wore the onions. He wore the onions around his neck.
Because it was the style at the time.
Well, he liked the onions.
Simpsons reference.
Yeah, and he didn't bathe very often
Nice.
at all. He smelled real bad. Everyone said he smelled really bad.
Well, see, he has onions around his neck,
Yeah.
and he's eating onions constantly, and
Yeah.
he never bathes.
And a
Yeah.
unwashed asshole.
Yeah, and he would...
Did he have a bidet at least?
No, he's in the middle of the goddamn desert.
I mean,
He,
like portable bidet.
No. He even held his meetings, like his, like, when he's like, all right, guys, let's come up with, like, war plans and shit, in his tent. He would hold them completely nude. He'd be totally naked.
Jesus Christ.
While
It's like
he's
general
talking
butt naked.
Yeah, sort of. In the sense that they were both naked at some point. Yeah. Very religious and just, he was sort of a, like, there was a hazing that happened at, like, the British military academy that he went to, where he had to, like, go through a gauntlet, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
And where, like, they slapped you and you got to jump in, like, a cistern full of cold
it's like a
water, right?
spanking
At the
machine.
end. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what he did is, stark nude, he walked up to all the seniors, him being, like, a freshman, and he goes, "You gonna hit me?" And the guy was like, "No." And he went to each one. He's like, "You gonna hit me?" "No, no, no." And he went all the way down the line, terrified all of them, and then just jumped in the cistern himself. And like everyone was like, "This guy's fucking for real, man! Like this
That's
guy's a
badass.
fucking madman," you know?
a very
Yeah, didn't he
stinky,
play
naked madman.
What's the name of the madman
Yeah.
from the A team?
Murdoch.
Yeah,
Murdoch.
he played
Howling
Murdoch.
Man Murdoch.
Charlton Copley, not this guy.
Yeah. Haile Selassie was gonna come back to Ethiopia, but the only way he was gonna do that is if he joined up with somebody like Wingate to get him back in. Join up with a force that was planning on going into Ethiopia and kicking the goddamn Italians out. Right? So he joins up with Wingate, and which is super nuts. Like, the super dignified Haile Selassie shows up with this fucking crazy dude.
With the sneaky
super
man.
team.
Yeah, and like Wingate's his plan, he took with his Gideon force. It was made up of yet the Sudanese, the Ethiopian Patriot forces, some of the Free French, the Free Belgium, a couple other rebel forces that were against the Italian occupation, and he set out for the long hard push back to Addis Ababa. What Wingate's plan was brilliantly simple. He would
Shoot them in the face.
what he would do.
Solid move.
What he would do was he would use guerrilla tactics to make the Italians think that the big bad British army was on its way when it was just his Gideon force.
Ooh, that's
so,
cool.
So what they would do, like, and he had to teach the Ethiopians certain things about war as they were going. Like, turns out, like, while they were under fire, like, a guy didn't know how to use a mortar, so he like taught them how to use it, like, while they're under fire. But
Is
like,
that true?
yeah.
That's cool.
And like while this is happening, like he's like, all right, we're gonna conduct these night raids. But the Ethiopians had never been trained in night raids,
Right.
so like
They've been trained
they
to
didn't-
stabbing people in the face.
Yeah, stabbing people in the fucking guts and watching the life leave their eyes. He's like, we'll use a system of whistles and flashlights is what we'll do. That's what we'll do. And like the Ethiopians didn't know how to whistle, I guess. That's something I heard, is that they didn't know how to whistle.
I was raised in the politics of whistling, and I cannot whistle. I just can't do it.
I have to suck into whistle.
Wow.
That's me. Did you hear that?
And I can't whistle loud, but I can do tunes.
Maybe the Ethiopians were raised to respect a lady when she walks by, so they never learned how to whistle.
Yeah, there you go.
I like
Yep.
your thinking.
No cat calling. It's why Lincoln could never whistle. You're right.
Yeah.
Anyone who can whistle is a pervert.
That's true.
Yeah. There were certain Italian divisions that straight up ran because they thought this big British force was coming through. But the thing is something we can't forget is that what Wingate was doing is he was finishing what the Ethiopian Patriots had started. The Ethiopian Patriots hadn't relented this entire time up until 1941. They had not relented. They would go and fuck with shit and be like, we have no more gasoline, or they would go and blow up a place all of a sudden, and then they would be
relentless.
gone. Yeah, they were completely relentless.
Because they wouldn't relent.
Yeah, exactly. So let's keep that in mind, that it wasn't all Wingate, right?
Yeah.
But he's invading, right? And yeah, he was using guerrilla tactics to make it look like there was another thing. But what's funny about it is he used all these like whistling signals and stuff like that with flashlights.
Remember when Mr. Burns was doing all the things?
Yeah.
Baseball.
The baseball game.
Not once, not twice, but thrice.
Yeah.
But what it reminded me of is actually like the Italians like sitting in their like barracks and stuff. Like it kind of reminded me of like John Cleese in Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where like they're building the bunny, and you can hear like the saws and shit, and he's like, patting his head and like,
Right.
Yeah.
He's like, where is that coming from? What is all of this? You know? Like it's way that where they're out there just like flashing lights and whistling,
Like, run away!
caca, like shit like that.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie.
It was May 5th, 1941, when they finally entered Addis Ababa again and retook the city for Ethiopia. Haile Selassie himself entered the city on camelback, which is amazing.
That is badass.
The
He's
Black
like
Emperor
Aladdin.
returning to his people. It was a there was much
imagine
rejoicing.
There was a song and dance number like in Aladdin.
Yeah.
What's the one where it's like Prince Ali?
Na. He's a great guy.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I don't want to get sued by Disney.
Oh yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
They're
point.
very
Good
litigious.
thing I didn't know the tune.
Yeah.
Haile Selassie made, this is part of his speech I just wanted to read to you. Quote, "Today is the day on which we defeated our enemy. Therefore, when we say let us rejoice with our hearts, let not our rejoicing be in any other way but in the Spirit of Christ. Do not return evil for evil. Do not indulge in the atrocities which the enemy has been practicing in his usual
That's
way,
like fun.
even to the last."
That's some straight Dune shit right there.
Yeah.
Like that's straight up like Paul Atreides going back to Arrakis.
To continue the quote. "Take care not to spoil the good name of Ethiopia by acts which are worthy of the enemy. We shall see that our enemies are disarmed and sent out the same way they came.
Wait.
As Saint George, who killed the dragon, is the patron saint of our army, as well as of our allies, let us unite with our allies in everlasting friendship and amity in order to be able to stand against the godless and cruel dragon which has newly risen and which is oppressing mankind."
Yeah,
End
again,
quote.
that's straight up fucking Dune shit. It's
Haile Selassie, man.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's
I wonder if that's somewhere Frank Herbert got it.
Could be.
maybe
He did a
Definitely.
lot of research.
Yeah. Could be.
Tacoma Boy.
Yeah. Now, on August 27th, 1942, because the war, the Italian invasion was, I won't say over, but it was, they had won now, with help from the British and the Allied forces. They'd kicked out the Italian
Now they're gonna mop up.
fascists. Yeah, and that's what this was.
They ended another pop-up.
Yeah, so August 27, 1942, Haile Selassie confirmed the legal basis for the abolition of slavery that had been enacted by Italy throughout the empire. And he actually did impose severe penalties, including death for slave trading. So that was the end of slavery in Ethiopia, 1942.
Yeah.
Which is good. Yeah, absolutely. Now, Italian guerrilla warfare would last well into 1943 until the armistice was signed with them. But yeah, they would continue to fight in small
I
pockets.
find it surprising that there must be some reason Italy, during World War II at this point, feels that taking Ethiopia is a good idea.
Well, it's once World War II really hit the fan, Italy did not have enough manpower to hold Libya, Ethiopia, the north of Africa, and Italy all
Is this
in the
after
same.
the guerrilla?
Oh
Italian?
yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
'Cause I'm like, at that point, I'm
1943 is when it sort of petered out.
When you're saying
but-
the Italian guerrilla forces, I'm like, so that was before the war got out of hand.
for Italy, as soon as the war started, Italy was too stretched.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
Yeah, and there's no way
You're
Italy
like,
could
fuck.
have maintained.
Fuck trying to
It's
get.
like
into
I was
Ethiopia.
saying earlier, like,
Yeah,
Mussolini had to have, like, did he not know what the
no
size
one, no one knew that World War II was coming.
Yeah.
But the thing is that
I think you
Italy went from like the big guy on the block pushing Ethiopia around to like, oh, now the world's involved. And they're like, oh, now I got one friend, you
Right.
know, and the world's involved. And now all of a sudden they can't just push Ethiopia around. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now they have to fucking guard Italy. And that didn't even go well. You know what I mean? They folded like a fucking house of cards. You know what I
Right.
mean? So,
Do you think they wouldn't have if they had
not invaded
not
Ethiopia?
invaded Ethiopia?
Well, if they wouldn't have invaded Ethiopia, who knows if World War II would have even happened?
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Who knows if the League of Nations would have got
Gotten
it
their shit
together,
together?
a little bit,
Yeah.
you know? This is all a catalyst for the League of Nations completely falling apart and World War II happening.
Well, it's like when
know.
multiple people are like, "Oh, the League of Nations ain't gonna do shit." Like, I mean,
Well,
Germany invades
Well, yeah, and
Poland. You know?
well, and it's like, why do people think that? Why do people to this day think the UN is a pile of shit? When it's not. I don't think it is. Why? It's because it's a carryover from, like, these feelings from the League of Nations. Because they were a useless fucking entity. Because, again, it was just a rubber stamp for two countries, right? The UN is not that way, right? It's not. Are they spineless? Sometimes, in cases where you would want them to be more aggressive, sure. But keep in mind, they can't just fucking go to war all the goddamn time. You know what I mean? Like, it's way more controlled now than it was with the League. The League was not at all that way. The League was undermined by its founders from the fucking beginning. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah, the people who
it's not the same.
were pushing for
you
it
know?
backed out
Yeah.
every chance they got.
Exactly. Yeah, and capitulated to aggressor demands.
And now we kind of now we kind of understand like how bad things can be if you take a non-response
yeah.
response.
Yeah. I do want to mention that not a single Italian commander, soldier, general was ever held accountable for their war crimes. They were never put on trial. They were
To this
never...
day. So we hunted
No.
down Nazis.
That's fucked
yeah,
up.
actually, the most loyal of them all was Rodolfo Graziani, the butcher of Faison. And he remained loyal to Mussolini, one of the only people to remain loyal to Mussolini
Sounds
until
like
the
a
very
solid
end.
dude.
And he was never
dude.
tried for war crimes, ever. Even though he's called the Butcher of Faison. Never tried for war crimes, even in Ethiopia, because they would never hand them over to Ethiopia to be tried there. He actually, he was tried by Italy after the war for collaborating with the Nazis, and he was tossed in prison for like a couple of years sentence, but he was released on a couple months afterwards because they were like, oh, you were acting under orders from Mussolini.
So it was just a giant slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
Basically.
Do you know how he died?
in his sleep as an old man?
Natural causes.
Motherfucker.
The Butcher of Faison was not hung or shot. It's fucked up. They were not
I mean,
tried
Mussolini
for their war
got
crimes.
his dead corpse marched through the streets.
Totally, but all of these other guys that straight up gassed people and killed untold number of people into the future well after the gas attacks as well were never held accountable for their crimes. They died well after the war.
Some bullshit.
Yeah, my God, it is. Some of them actually tried to work in the Italian Fascist Party after the war to try to make another Fascist Italy happen. And they were still not
Jesus.
arrested or tossed in jail or held
Jeez.
accountable
It's
for
like
their deplorable actions.
It's like how the MAGA party is going to start after
yeah.
split. Honestly, if it splits from the Republicans, that's probably gonna.
It's probably a
fuck.
good thing, honestly. It's probably a good thing because I do know respectable Republicans, and I know they want nothing to do with these MAGA chuds. And
Chuds.
I think the only way for them to separate themselves is to actually separate. That's my opinion. That's neither here nor there. But we're going to continue this story in part 3 because we're not done yet. Because the British are now occupying Ethiopia, and it's like Haile Selassie is like, thanks.
Now, can you
So
guys fuck
can
off?
you guys fuck off now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to learn about that
I
next.
know a lot about the British, and
yeah. They don't like fucking off.
they
Anyway.
do begrudgingly after many world wars, and where there's no reason for them to stay there anymore.
Yeah. It's disgusting that not a single one of these Italian war criminals were ever tried.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Or, like, they even said, like, can we give them to Ethiopia so they can try them? And they're like,
Like,
no.
All of their mothers say that there's no way they could have done the things that you say that they did, and that they're all good boys.
He's a good boy. He could never get in any trouble.
Yeah.
There's a statue of Graziani in his hometown right now.
Wow.
Right now.
There's a statue
It was-
of Andrew Jackson in front of the fucking White House.
Yeah. Well, Graziani was the butcher of Faison. This man is... He wasn't a president during a horrific time in American history. He was a war criminal through and through. He committed war crimes, and he freely admitted to it. And in his hometown, the mayor paid to have the statue erected.
I just think that...
And it's sitting there, and the rest of the world is like, "Hey, that's fucked, dude. You got to take that down." And they're like, "It's our history. What? You know?"
Yeah. Yeah.
In Lafayette Square, there is a statue of Andrew,
Andrew
Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah.
They tried to tear it down during the protests, and
Yeah.
they couldn't because it's strong.
It's made out of old hickory.
And I'm like... I would have been like, hell yeah, tear that fucking shit down.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
mean, I took pictures of, like, statues that were covered in graffiti when I was down
Yeah.
there. It was rad.
oh man, Churchill. I'll talk a little bit at the top of the episode about Churchill and his dealings with Haile Selassie after the war. Anyway, that's the end of that episode, guys. Thank you for sticking with us through these. I swear to
We'll
God,
get there
these
on part-
episodes are gonna
part
fucking
3.
kill me.
Nowhere to go but up from here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, so we are the History Boys. I am Christopher Whedon. We learned a lot today about the inner ear, the cochlea, the two fluids that are in the two parts of the cochlea,
He was
inner
planning
hair
this from the
cells.
beginning.
Nobody can see your face, Tyler. You gotta articulate vocally.
You have to vocalize how
the
you're
pain
feeling.
You're feeling.
I have 2 fluids for Chris. And I'm hoping that they'll shut him up. It's liquid poo-poo and pee-pee.
I got it.
Yeah.
Poo-poo pee-pee.
Diarrhea.
Some of you guys were probably speculating that there was semen in there. There isn't, because...
It's poo-poo pee-pee, the crux of our show.
Yeah.
Semen is too loving. Semen is the love juice.
Blood is the violent juice.
Oh,
the hate,
yeah.
hate juice.
Yeah.
If you really hate somebody, spray blood at them. Because lizards will do it out of their eyeballs. So,
And that's another thing we learned about today. So there you go.
yeah.
No.
I'm a fountain of knowledge of things that are just so not interesting at all.
I'm Zach Meck. I am a history boy, and I am so sleepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we got late.
We're a little tired. Yeah. And I'm Jerry Nash, your history boy. Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow us on all the social media platforms. That is Facebook and on Twitter and on Instagram. You can see all the stuff we post. You can send us messages. And
Leave us a 5-star review on Apple
Apple
Podcasts.
Anywhere you can, leave us a 5-star review. Please
Tell
do
your
that.
friends about how funny we are.
Oh yeah, tell your friends about the show. It doesn't cost you a dime to leave a 5-star review for us. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Subscribe where you can, of course.
If you do want to throw us money, sign up on our Patreon.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Patreon, that's great. That gives you access to our Discord, where you can hang out with us in more intimate circumstances. The people that are already on there already know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
they
can tell you.
We do a monthly beers with the boys, as we call it.
A lot of fun.
We're starting to do like a question and answers portion on that we've thought was very fun.
Yeah, and I do want to mention the Free Aromia podcast. Hit me back, and they have a couple of reading suggestions for you all if you want to know more about this subject matter. And I do encourage you to go read more about this. Don't just take what we say and that's that. Their books, especially regarding Haile Selassie, The Invention of Ethiopia by Bonnie Holcomb, and I'm going to butcher this name, Sisai Abesa, dual authors there. And also Oromia and Ethiopia by Asafa Jalata. These books will give you more insight into the sort of unpropagandized version of what history is, and that's the version of history we always like to tell you, dear listener. So these we also would recommend to you. Anyway, with that, Mr. Zach.
Love you, bye.
We had a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. Or I guess we won't, whatever.